The reveal scene in The Sixth Sense, 1999, directed by M. Night Shyamalan, is considered the greatest dramatic twist in cinematic history. The film is ranked among the AFI's 100 greatest movies. The reveal, "I've been dead all along," has become a cultural icon. Each scene was designed to contain hidden clues, e.g., no one looks at the doctor, no one eats, no one touches him. Audiences didn't understand the twist until rewatching it. Today, the film is taught in screenwriting schools as an example of masterful dramatic construction. This isn't just a twist. This is a revolution in storytelling.
In 1999, while the world thought it was watching a film about a child who sees the dead, no one expected the surprise wasn't the child, but the man sitting in front of him. Every moment, every dialogue, every touch was built on a single lie. A lie the director told,
"What's up?
I won't tell you the secret."
Is that you?
In that moment, the hero wasn't killed. No discovery was made. Nothing was uncovered, but he knew the truth. I'm dead. And that everything that happened was a goodbye to himself. Some twists don't make a noise. They enter quietly and redefine everything you've seen. Because they don't reveal the enemy. They reveal that you were the corpse all along. Since that day, the audience no longer trusts the hero. They no longer believe the dialogue. Because The Sixth Sense taught us one lesson. Sometimes, the only person who doesn't see the dead is the dead themselves.
Fight Club, 1999, is directed by American director David Fincher. The film is a psychological drama and thriller based on the novel of the same name, starring Brad Pitt, Edward Norton, and Helena Bonham Carter. It is considered one of the most influential twists in the history of psychological cinema. Based on the novel by Charles Palani, the film tells the story of a man suffering from insomnia and depression, who creates a fictional character named Tyler Durden. Tyler becomes the leader of a destructive movement, until the protagonist realizes that Tyler is part of him. This twist reflects the illness of dissociative identity disorder. The scene was carefully filmed, the use of reflections, grayscale, and intermittent music. Today, this film is taught in psychology and film schools as an example of self-destruction. This is not just a twist. This is a psychological disaster that has been mythologized. Because some people are not defeated from the outside. They are defeated when they discover that the enemy was within all along. In 1999, While the world thought it was watching the story of a man fighting the system, no one could have predicted that the battle wasn't against society, but against his own mind. The man, the hero, is talking to Tyler Durden, his friend, the leader of the movement, the legend. Then suddenly, he realizes something in his eyes. He looks into the mirror. Tyler appears in the reflection, but he's not behind him. At that moment, the enemy wasn't killed, the money wasn't stolen, but he knew the truth. I am Tyler Durden, and that everything that happened, it was a disease living inside him. Some villains don't come from outside. They're created from despair, insomnia, and emptiness. Because whoever loses themselves creates a promising hero out of their imagination. Then they become their slave. Since that day, the audience no longer trusted dialogue. They no longer believed in the friend who came out of nowhere. Because Fight Club taught us one lesson. Sometimes the one enemy you can't defeat is the part of you you refuse to see. The reveal scene in The Usual Suspects, 1995, directed by Bryan Singer, is considered one of the greatest dramatic twists in cinematic history. The film was written by Christopher McQuarrie and won the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. The main character, Roger Kent, presents himself as a victim, but he is actually Kaiser Söze, a fictional criminal legend. Every name, place, and crime were invented from the elements found in the interrogation room. The famous line, "The best trick in the world is to convince people you're weak," has become a popular proverb. Today, this film is taught in film schools as an example of constructing truth from a lie. This isn't just a twist. This is a symphony of deception, where a single word was more powerful than a bullet. The turn that turned a weak man into a criminal legend. In 1995, while the world thought it was watching the story of a small-time drug dealer embroiled in a major scandal, no one expected that everything was being written right before their eyes. Count Keating interrogates Roger Kent, a disabled man, who tells a story about a score settling between criminals and about a legend called Kaiser Söze. As the cons continue the interrogation, he gathers evidence from the walls, all of which are images from Roger's memory of the ship and its explosion. At that moment, the killer's identity was not revealed. No one was arrested. But something even more dangerous happened. All the words were a lie, and every name, every place, every crime was being created at that moment from the mind of a man who said, "I am nothing." Some bad guys never get caught because they don't do anything, they just talk. And they turn truth into fiction, until fiction becomes fact. The sunken place scene in the film Get Out, 2017, directed by Jordan Peele, is considered one of the most influential turns in modern cinematic history. The film combines horror, dark comedy, and social analysis. Sunken Place symbolizes loss of control, marginalization, and racial exploitation. The phrase "get up" has become a cultural icon, used in curricula about racism. The film won an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay and was included in the list of the 100 greatest American films. Today, this film is taught in American universities as an example of political horror. This isn't just a turn. This is a social scandal portrayed as a horror film, because some people aren't kidnapped by force. They're kidnapped with a smile. In 2017, while the world thought it was watching a love story between a man and a woman from an eccentric family, no one expected that the disease was not confined to the family, but to the entire community. Chris is persuaded to relax during a hypnosis session, where he sits in a chair and then sinks into another world.
Dear, you must be aware that you are now in the sinking place.
At that moment, he didn't lose consciousness. He didn't black out. But he knew the truth. I don't visit her family. I'm for sale. And that every smile, every kind word, was part of an enslavement process. Some places are not seen on maps. They are constructed in the mind and guarded by racism. Because the sunken place is not just a psychological game. It is the reality of millions of people. Since that day, the public no longer trusted hospitality. They no longer believed in first love, because Get Out taught us one lesson. Sometimes the one person you can't escape is the one you're invited to dinner with. The reveal scene in Oldboy, 2003, directed by Park Chan-wook, is one of the most shocking twists in Asian cinema history. Based on a Japanese manga, the film tells the story of a man who is kidnapped for 15 years without knowing why. Upon his release, he begins a search for his kidnapper, only to discover that revenge is part of a larger plan. The twist: the woman he loved is his daughter, and their son is the fruit of an illicit relationship. This scene sparked widespread debate about morality, punishment, and fate. The film won the jury prize at Cannes and was included in The Guardian's list of the 100 greatest films. This isn't just a twist. This is a human catastrophe portrayed as a revenge film, because some people aren't punished with prison. They're punished by living the dream, which is hell. After 15 years in prison, upon his release he begins searching for his kidnapper, only to discover that revenge is part of a larger plan. Odagu finds the woman he loves, Choi Mi-do. He starts a relationship with her and builds a life. It all seems like a happy ending. Until the doctor came in and told them the shocking truth that blew the whole situation apart. He said to him, "Your son has been tested. There is a genetic problem. At that moment, the enemy wasn't killed. The trapdoor didn't open, but he knew the truth. I wasn't kidnapped to exact revenge. I was kidnapped to marry my daughter, and that every kiss, every touch, every dream was part of the punishment.
Hospital room, a soft conversations.
Some mysteries go unsolved because the answer erases the meaning. Because Oldboy wasn't a revenge movie. It was a human ritual disguised as freedom. Since that day, the public no longer trusted first love. They no longer believed in happy endings. Because Oldboy taught us one lesson. Sometimes the only person who can't escape their past is the one who thinks they're free. The enemy, Lee Woo-jin, planned all of this as part of his revenge. The reason? Because in his youth, Dae-soo spread a rumor about an illicit relationship between Woo-jin and his sister, leading to her suicide. After discovering the horrific truth, Dae-soo collapses completely and tries to erase Mi-do's memory so she won't learn the truth. The film ends with an ambiguous scene. Has he also forgotten the truth? Or is he still living in agony? The reveal scene in Christopher Nolan's The Prestige, 2006, is one of the most complex and poignant twists in modern cinematic history. Based on the novel of the same name, the film tells the story of a bitter rivalry between two magicians. The twist: every time an angler disappears, he is duplicated, and the other duplicate dies. The famous line, "You're looking for the secret, but you won't find it," has become a cultural icon. The film poses existential questions. Who is the original? What does identity mean? Does sacrifice justify art? Today, this film is taught in philosophy and film schools as an example of technology versus humanity. This isn't just a twist. This is a philosophical tragedy filmed like a circus movie. Because some people aren't killed by bullets, they're killed by a copy of themselves. In 2006, while the world thought it was watching a story of rivalry between magicians, no one expected that the trick wasn't in the hands, but in the soul. Robert explains to the audience, telling them, the magic trilogy, preparation, insinuation, and recall is one of the most important elements of magic. But even better is sacrifice. Yes, sacrifice is the most important thing in the universe. At that moment, the opponent wasn't killed, the secret wasn't revealed, but he knew the truth. Every time I disappear, my other clone dies, and that every welcome, every deal, every victory was paid for by a human life. Some tricks don't need trickery, they need blood. Because The Prestige wasn't a circus movie, it was a daily ritual of death and rebirth. Since that day, the audience no longer trusted repetition. They no longer believed in the magician who suddenly appeared. Because The Prestige taught us one lesson. Sometimes the one person who can't escape himself is the one who creates 1,000 versions of himself. The film revolves around the idea of duality, the twins, the machine that creates the clones, and the characters who hide their true identities. In short, Prestige is a complex and multi-layered film that tells more than just the story of a conflict between two magicians, but also a profound meditation on the nature of art, obsession, and the exorbitant cost of deception.